ακουστική. Τέλεια. Να μπορεί να μπει μέσα κόσμος αβέρτα. Nice, nice, nice. Ας το κάνουμε έτσι, λίγο τροχονόμο θα κάνω. Προβλέπετε. Ποιο είναι το case, λοιπόν. Ότι η Ελλάδα είναι ένα πολύ ωραίος τόπος. Ένα πολύ ωραίο μέρος. Ένα πολύ μαγικό μέρος, έστω και άμα εμείς ήδη δεν την αγαπάμε μερικές φορές. Από gamers έχουμε μίστες, έχουμε Forgiven, είχαμε Muta, όποιος θυμάται το Muta, Fnatic, είχαμε Satanic, στο StarCraft το 1, είχε πάει στην Κορέα. Γενικώς και είμαστε μια χώρα που 10 εκατομμύρια βγαίνει τρελό πράγμα. Πολλούς επιστήμονες. Τα μισά αμερικάνικα πανεπιστήμια, Ελληναράδες είναι τα heads. Τι παίζει λοιπόν. Κάτι υπάρχει εδώ πέρα. Υπάρχει ένα μέλι. Υπάρχει ένα τέτοιο μέλι που κατάφερε να τραβήξει κοντά του, σε αυτό το μικρό τόπο, έναν από τους πιο γνωστούς, αν όχι το πιο γνωστό streamer, τον κύριο Kripparrian. Για δώστε λοιπόν ένα μεγάλο χειροκρότημα στον Krip. Τρελό τζιμάνι. Θα του δώσω ένα όφωνο. Here's your microphone, man. Hello. You can go. You'll do it a cappella. I'll just be here in the corner, just in case we need a little bit of translation or anything like that. Just for support. And it's a great honor to have this guy here. He got enchanted and trapped by the Greek goddesses, the rumors say. Or a Greek goddess. But αυτό που είναι πολύ σημαντικό όμως, what is very important, is to see how a guy that is so famous on an international level, and he's living out of this. He's not an amateur. Are you an amateur?
That's some things.
No, you're destroying me. Λοιπόν, πέρα από τις βλακίες, ο τύπος είναι όντως τεράστιος, πληρώνεται για αυτό που κάνει και αυτό που αγαπάει και έχει σημασία να ακούσουμε λίγο τι έχει να μας πει. Let's go, Krip, the floor is yours, man.
Hello, everyone. I am Krip. I am from the internet. I am outside of my habitat here, and this is something I haven't done before, so I'll try my best. And I thought I'd come here today and tell you guys pretty much what I do, because people like you, people who play video games all day, you guys want to continue doing it, because obviously you like it, obviously you're here. And if you guys don't know who I am, I'm someone who just plays video games all day, and I make a living out of it, and I take it very, very easy. I don't treat it as a business, and I'm going to tell you guys today my story, how I came to be here, because I looked around and we're at the Hellenic American Education Center, and I'm going to educate you guys on how you can play video games all day. So it should be something pretty interesting to learn. Now, if you do decide to change any part of your life because of anything that I say, at the very least, do me the service of not pointing it at me. I don't want any Greek parents coming after me for any kind of reason or anything like that. But basically what I do is, I wake up in the morning and I play a video game for about 8 hours, and then after that, I make a YouTube video, which takes me about 1 hour depending on how much stuff I did, the ideas that I had in my head, and pretty much just speak my mind on some videos. And just doing this, about 9 hours of the day I play video games, and at the end of the day, someone like me, you know, a Canadian, I can be here, I can do whatever I want in this world, and I've been very lucky to do it, but at the same time, at certain points in my life, I've worked very hard to come to this point, and I want to tell you guys that experience, and maybe you guys can learn not directly how I've come here, but indirectly, hopefully you guys appreciate my story at least. So, about 5 years ago, I was in university. I was doing math and physics, and I was very unhappy, and one thing that made me very happy was playing World of Warcraft every night with my guild. And I wasn't the type of person that's, naturally good at anything. I mean, any game that I played, I was pretty terrible to start, and World of Warcraft and many of the ones before it that I won't talk about today were included among this. I was good at World of Warcraft because I treated it as a science. So I figured, it's just pushing buttons on a keyboard. If someone else can do it, I can do it at least as well as they can. And with this idea, thinking patiently, thinking scientifically, figuring out all the different things, learning the game the absolute most complete way possible, you can become, one of the better players. And I did this after a few years of playing World of Warcraft. I was in Exodus, which is an American guild. It was one of the best guilds, and I was spending my nights raiding, spending my nights recruiting, spending my nights raid leading, doing everything that I could to get the guild off the ground and making it work and just having us be the best. Because when you're the best at something, when you have the best group, it's easier to attract people who also think they're the best. And it just keeps on going and going and going. And well, playing video games isn't exactly like watching television. You do something, and it's something that you can get better. And we've come to a point, at least now, where enough people appreciate it. So this is the core of what allows me to do what I do. And I didn't know this at the time. I just knew that I loved playing World of Warcraft, and I wanted to be the absolute best in every possible way at World of Warcraft. And in many ways I was. However, because I did all this, because I put all my time into it, because all the little things working in my head, all the cogwheels and all that stuff were World of Warcraft, I did quite terribly in school. But I realized that I wasn't a very ambitious person. I realized that at the end of the day, what I want to do is go home and play video games. I don't really care what I have to do, what kind of job I have to get. I just want to take it easy. I don't want to take my work home with me. I don't care how much money I make. I don't care if I have a car. In fact, I bike still. I don't care what kind of house I live in. I don't care. I just want to do whatever I do, and for the longest time, it's to play video games. So what I started doing in World of Warcraft, because I reached the level where I was doing everything I possibly could for the guild. I was doing everything I could possibly do for anything. I realized that there's a lot of people who are interested in learning how a person like me would do as well as I would do in a game, which is kind of a strange concept because people go to school for like math, people go to school for, I guess, Greek, but I thought people would be interested in learning how to play video games. So I made some YouTube videos, showing people how I moved around in the game, some things that went through my head. And this was, at the time, something that I didn't think would be profitable because at the time, on YouTube, it was very difficult to make money if you were publicizing video game content because of the copyright restrictions and all that kind of stuff. I didn't know all the details, but I knew it was quite a mess, and it was a mess that nobody at the time was really getting into. So I was essentially making YouTube videos of my World of Warcraft activities, things I learned about the game I try to teach other people for fun. And that's really all it was. And I did this for about 2 years. For the first year or so, I was still in school, and I eventually got a job because I realized that being in math and being in physics, it's the kind of job that I'd have to get a lot more education from, and it's the kind of commitment I didn't really want. I decided that being the low ambition person that I was, I'd be okay with just playing video games as much as I could. So I got a job. I was a computer technician, which I really liked, and at the end of the day, I would race home with my bike and play World of Warcraft. Back to the YouTubes. About 2 years in, about 2 years after being a computer technician and doing all that, I had about 30,000 subscribers, and at this point, I hadn't made a single cent. I did YouTube, probably 100 videos, did it as well as I could, as much effort as I put into World of Warcraft, I put into making videos, teaching people and showing people the kind of stuff that I did. And at that point, there was a game that was being released that really appealed to me, and it was Diablo 3. And I really liked Diablo 2. I'd played Diablo 2 for quite a large portion of my life. And I realized that at this point, 2 years after I had started my YouTube channel, the circumstances of YouTube had changed to that people who do make video game content can monetize it. They can make a living. Well, they can make money. I didn't know exactly what kind of living they could make, but they can get money from playing a video game, putting some of their own content in it, uploading it, and then taking a share of the ad revenue. So I knew this was now possible. I tried to get into it, and I was into it for about 1 month before this whole Diablo 3 idea came in my head. And I think that month I made like $200. So I had thought that, well, if I make $200 and I was making like 2 videos a week, if I make a video every day, if I'm that ambitious, maybe I can make about as much money as I can as a computer technician making 1 YouTube video every day, which at the time was a longer process of maybe 2 to 3 hours. And so I went with it. I decided that if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to quit my job to try to make it work on YouTube, that you have to take it just like it do when you try to be the best at a video game. There's no point doing something, half of the way. So I wanted to play Diablo 3. I realized that Diablo 3 would be a very difficult game, at least at the start. And I realized that it would be a game that I could be the best before people even realized that it was something that they could learn. Diablo 3 at the time was in a state of beta. And in Diablo 3, you could only get I think it was to like level 13 or something, and you could only kill the Skeleton King. So if you've never played the game has 4 acts, and most acts have kind of divisions. And the Act 1, the first division was the one that was playable in the beta, and there were 4 difficulty levels. So on a scale, you can kind of think of it like in the Diablo 3 beta, you could play 1/16 of the game. And from this bit, from the 16th of the game, I decided that I would form a team. I would take this as professionally as possible so we could learn absolutely the most. And we would learn from this small bit of the game as much as we possibly could. And we'd just be the best at that game. And doing this, I had thought to myself that, I would make, because I would know so much and other people would know so little, I'd have very good reason to make YouTube videos. And even if I didn't grow that much, I'd make however much I was making as a computer technician, which, wasn't too much more than $200, but, it was a bit more. So we spent about 2 months. I had a very long to-do list of all the things that I needed to do, like, get the camera, get a new computer. And I was a computer technician. I knew exactly what kind of hardware I needed to make this work. And with the team, we practiced every night. I had a very, very intricate spreadsheet to where we estimated what kind of gear, what the impact of gear would be on the characters at maximum level, how the classes would work amongst each other. We even did things like we guessed how much the classes would do based on the values of the skills given the gear that we estimated. We practiced techniques. I brought the idea of how do you kill a monster that kills you in 1 hit and you can't outrun it. So just stuff like that, theoretical things that go through your head, and it sounds so ridiculous, but all these things added up, put us so far ahead that we were the first that I know of, the first Americans to kill Diablo on the hardest difficulty. And about a month later, I was with one of the other teammates, the only actually to kill Diablo on the hardest difficulty on hardcore. And on hardcore, if you die once, you lose your character. And at the time, the game was absolutely insane. So during this process, during the launch of the game, the YouTube that I was doing, was working not what I was hoping, 5-6 times better. It was 30 times better. So it was going very well. And as we started, the other teammates talked to me about streaming, which at the time was really a thing that was only with League of Legends. And arguably, it's still mostly a thing with League of Legends, but the other games, like Hearthstone, like Dota 2 do attract quite an audience these days, but back then it was only League of Legends, and there were two streaming platforms. There was Twitch, and there was Owned TV, which is no longer. So we got signed up with Twitch, and I ended up streaming this stuff, and the streaming stuff went very well as well. The streaming actually ended up being bigger than YouTube, which is something I absolutely did not anticipate. And when we did kill Diablo on Inferno Hardcore, we got, I believe, was 54,000 or 56,000 concurrent viewers, which was the most at the time. This is, you have to keep in mind, this is over 2 years ago. And this is a really big deal, especially for Twitch. I mean, anyone who logged in Twitch during that time, you know, they had the banner like, Krip and Krippy are killing hardcore Diablo, you guys check this out, or something like that. And, you know, we were pretty flattered, of course. So, it's been going really well. But one thing that I've really kept very consistent is that everything that I've produced, I've done absolutely by myself. So I feel like I own it. And because I don't treat it as a business, because it's relaxed, people tend to see that. And a lot of people get attracted to the stream. They like the videos, they like the content, because it's pretty relaxed. I've come to a point where the stream has gone from Diablo, which ended up being a pretty boring game after a while, to Path of Exile, to many different other games, back to World of Warcraft. And, you know, just short of a year ago, I was trying out a game, I think it was Final Fantasy XIV, and I was doing the beta, and it was terrible, and they banned me. And I checked my email, not having anything to do, and I got a Hearthstone beta invite. And it actually happened to be the first day that they sent out the Hearthstone beta invites. Apparently, one of the people working at Blizzard was enjoying my stream, and they wanted to see me play the game. So I played Hearthstone, and it was a pretty awesome game. And with Hearthstone, it kind of ballooned my stream. If you guys are curious, which I'm sure you guys are, in terms of the money aspect of things, I can compare it to the person I lived with. So I've been living with my dad when I was doing the streaming stuff, and I obviously wasn't making more money than him being a computer technician. He's you know, a very well-off person. And with the streaming, in the first year and a half or so, I was making about as much money as he was. And he was working all day, and I was playing computer games all day. And with Hearthstone, because it ballooned so big, and because I grew with the sport, because I participated in events like the BlizzCon tournament, because I participated in events like ESGN Fight Night, I kind of grew with the game. And, you know, it came to the point where I could play video games as much as I wanted, and in the rest of the time, I could do absolutely anything I wanted. And, you know, I've been very lucky to come here, but at the same time, it's not for everyone. Not everyone can play a video game all day and have, you know, 15, 20,000 people watch them, watch their every move, criticize them, spam the chat, spam them with the dongers and all the rest. But apparently, this is a perfect fit for me, and it's kind of amazing that I've come to this point. You know, 5 years ago, I was essentially a failing student who just got like a job around minimum wage so he could play World of Warcraft in his spare time. And, well, here I am. So it's been quite a dream.
Awesome, right? Γουστάραμε. Ωραία. Are you willing to roll the dice for some questions?
Yeah, of course.
Let's roll the dice. Όποιος πει παπάρα, γίνεται blacklist από το event μου. Έναν international τύπο φέραμε, μη μας κάνετε ρεζίλι. Δείξτε ποιότητα. Πάμε. Ποιος έχει ερώτηση?
I don't speak Greek.
I'll hook you up, man. I'm your goblin translator. Like a Zetan.
You said, as we all know, I think, you are one of the most viewed Twitch streamers ever. And do you think that this is because you took the chance at the right time, or because of your skill and what effort you put into it?
So there's two aspects of this. The first is being good at things, skill, let's call it. In my opinion, if you're the best at any one thing, you can just do that. That could be your profession. So you can take that aspect. But the other that I think is more important is that of opportunity. So I was very fortunate to see that it was a time that was changing. So YouTube, when I started, was essentially changing. People were beginning to be allowed to monetize their video game content. And on the other side, the streaming was growing. I didn't even know about streaming if I didn't start the team. So I was lucky, but at the same time, I took advantage. I took full advantage of the opportunity. If you want to really realize the commitment, it doesn't feel like a commitment to me because playing video games is something you do in your free time. So if you have a free weekend and you play video games for 17 hours, that's not work. But if you put it to a larger scale, which I did, it can be pretty alarming. So I streamed and played video games, and I pretty much did nothing else. I did this 7 days a week. So I wake up, I stream, I make a video, maybe I watch a movie, I go to sleep, and I repeated this cycle for about 2 years without missing a single day. So other people who are not going to be as committed as that, they're not going to be as popular. And on the internet, which is where I'm from, popularity seems to be a snowball. So, yes, hard work and opportunity.
Δώστε. By the way, I'll just say it in Greek, two words. Συν Αθηνά και χειρακίνη λέμε στην Ελλάδα. Δηλαδή, δες την ευκαιρία, see the chance, then take it, πάρτινα. Μην το αφήσεις. Δηλαδή ότι έκανα ένα βιντεάκι και έπιασα 20 viewers και δεν υφίσταται. Ο τύπος 2 χρόνια, 24/7, 365 το χρόνο. Δεν έχασε μια μέρα. You were sick because 2 years, one day you had to be sick. And still you streamed, right?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. In Greece, mommy, no, I am very tired today, bring me soup.
I streamed without a voice. I whispered, and apparently that was a really bad idea.
Question. Ερώτηση. Πάμε.
So the first time I saw your stream, it was like you were losing your first character, and she was your barbarian, I think, and she died. And the next moment, you just said that to the chat, and you kept on eating your cereals. And
it was soup.
Soup. It was
Not
just
cereal.
amazing. How can you invest so much time in something, and then when it happens, not go crazy about it? I mean, you have this Zen gaming of sorts.
Nice question.
Well, I have an hour here. I can't talk about every aspect of success, but yes, I don't get frustrated when something catastrophic happens in a video game, especially when a character on hardcore dies after you put in, 20 hours a day for 2 weeks. And the idea is that when something like that happens, in general, often the case is that you being frustrated does not improve the situation. And some people, I guess not most people, can realize this, and this is really the core of what removes the frustration. It's the idea that you can control your head just a little bit. And it's very important to be to really understand what action you need to take to reach the next level in something. So if your character dies, it's something that has happened. Being frustrated is the level below because it doesn't help the situation. It makes it worse. It makes you frustrated. The level above is understanding why you died and just starting over immediately and being persistent about it.
Έως. Κατάλαβε τα λάθη σου, μάθε από αυτά και το δράμα δεν σε εξυπηρετεί καθόλου. Πάμε.
Hey man,
Hey.
we all know that you're a very successful streamer, and
What I'm curious about is, in comparison to many other successful Hearthstone streamers, you don't advertise donation as much. So you have a PayPal account, you accept donations, but you don't advertise that on your stream.
Yeah, that's true. So this is going to take me a little bit to explain, but I think you guys will find it interesting. So it turns out that people who stream ask for money.
It's a true story.
Usually when they ask for money, they get the money, which I don't really agree with. And at the beginning, when I started the streaming, when I started the YouTube, I was actually against receiving donations because it seemed ridiculous to me that I am sitting in a chair at home playing video games, and they're giving me money for nothing. And at the same time, not only am I not working for it, but it created an expectation. So if they're paying me, they might expect me to do something. And some people react to this, and some people do crazy stuff for the money on the internet, as you guys know. But I didn't really want a part of this. I felt in a way embarrassed to accept people's money, especially because when I was streaming, I was doing very well, and often the people who were giving me money, you know, they needed it more than me. And that's still the case in most. But the idea became a little bit more complicated when I was playing Diablo 3, and Diablo 3 had a real money auction house. Me being, you know, involved in the game as fully as I could, I posted my items on the real money auction house, and to my surprise, as terrible as the items were, as expensive as I made the items, people were buying them. And obviously it became a realization that people were buying them because of the exact reason that they wanted to give me money.
Like James Dean Porsche.
So you can't really stop people from doing what they want. You can only discourage it. So the way that I have it set up, you know, I don't advertise that I accept money. I don't even mention it because I don't want to. But I have a donation link, and it's like the Krip money pit. So it's kind of like the Sparta pit. You know, you throw the money in there, and it never comes back out, and nothing happens to it. Except I'm at the bottom.
And it's a very legit way to portray it, eh? He says, when you throw your money there, μόλις πετάξεις τα λεφτά σου, ξεχάσέ τα. It's a very good concept. Because we see a lot of people, you know, that donate, I give you this, I give you that. Okay, here is one of my questions. I've also asked you personally, but I would like other people to hear as well. In Greece, you know, we have, you've been a part of this Greek thing for a while.
I have been part of this Greek thing for a little over 4 months, yes.
So I'm sure that you have seen that in Greece, you know, it's all about the image, some things. So what is really impressive for me is that in your stream, no special graphics, no nothing, just the guy, the camera, and a huge success. So I don't know, how you never changed that? You had the money, the connections. I'm sure a lot of people will offer you, oh, can I make you an overlay? Can I make you this?
Yeah, people do that. But I don't know. I don't feel like it really matters. I mean, you're not putting on like a TV broadcast with a production staff of 200 people. You know, you're in your living room and you're playing a video game. So one side is there's a certain reality that if people accept, you know, you're more honest with your audience. And the other side is, I mean, I'm just a little bit lazy on some things.
Correct. Ερωτησούλα. Τόσο τζιμάνι με μαλλί γκάιλ. Κοίτα εδώ ρε φίλε, η βούρτσα. Θα πάω να κλαφτώ εμβριακή στάση στο μπάνιο μετά. Πάρ' το μικρόφωνο.
Has ever happened something in a game that you would so want to quit it? Something like really depressing, I could say.
I mean, I've quit video games. In the story that I gave you guys, I quit Final Fantasy XIV because it was super boring and because they banned me. So I couldn't even give the game a chance if I wanted. In terms of being frustrated and quitting a game because of it, I think the only time I did that was actually with Dark Souls 1 because I refused to compromise with a controller and I refused to get a console system, so I played with my mouse and keyboard.
Opa, technical. Let me check it out. Let me check you out. Is it battery or?
So it was Dark Souls 1, and the game is just really frustrating to play with a mouse and keyboard because in a video game you feel like you are the character. You're moving the character, you're dodging things around. And when this has a disconnect and you fail at the game because of it, after days of getting a headache, you just get fed up with it. So that's really the one thing that I think made me quit a game because of just getting frustrated. But I think that's understandable. I think these days, games optimize the control of the character more than anything else before even the content, just so people have fun playing the game. And, well, if you don't have fun playing the game, you quit. And that's what I did. And I don't think we're getting more questions.
Okay, I fixed also the other mic. Question?
Unlike Trump, you cannot interact with your chat because they are spamming dongers and they are rioting. And don't you like to interact with your chat occasionally?
Some days I interact with my chat. For a while now I've been like a little bit under the weather and yeah, I'm a bit lazy and don't too often. But in a way, people posting anything in chat is something interactive. So if people spam their dongers or if they spam their Eddie Pastorinos or the copy pastas, anything that happens in chat is something that they're communicating. So in the end, you should receive this. So there's a lot of dongers, or if there's a lot of elephants in chats, well, it's nice to acknowledge it. It's nice to see it. And, I don't really try to suppress people from saying just about anything. Yeah.
Okay. Doste. Carson, guys, it's time for their question.
Hello there. I want to ask you about Hearthstone stream. Do you think that there is required to be a good high laddering player participating in online tournaments and stuff to be successful on streaming Hearthstone, except for people like you that already have their following and stuff?
Yeah, so obviously it's not a requirement because, I don't do very well on ladder in Hearthstone. But, I talked to you guys today about my story of how I came into streaming, how I came into YouTube, and the circumstances for how it worked for me are never going to be the same. It's not like, you follow the steps and it works. It's kind of an example how it worked once. I can't say for sure that any one or two things are going to contribute to the success of a streamer. But in general, I don't think you need any specific requirement to have success in really anything.
Hello, Kripparrian. How are you?
Hey.
I hope you're enjoying your stay in Greece.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming here. And on behalf of the whole Hearthstone community, I wanted to congratulate you on your work on streaming and gaming in general, all these great events that we see you in participating,
Thank you very much.
I just wanted to ask you, how do you touch the creep? Is it so difficult?
It can be pretty difficult. The steps to touch the crypt is you have to get within a certain proximity for you to reach out your arm and have the finger land on at least the shirt of the crypt. So the requirements right now are not really going to work because the distance between us is larger than the length of your arm. Okay.
Ερώτηση. You can handle 3 more.
Yeah, why not?
Perfect.
Hi again.
Hey.
I think my point of view, because just a second, I think that you don't succeed in ladder because you don't play decks that are mainstream. You try your own summon arena-ish deck, and that's the reason that we don't see you any higher. Why do you do that? Why don't you play mainstream and try your chances on the higher ranks?
So when it comes specifically to Hearthstone, Hearthstone, in my opinion, is not that competitive of a game. It has a lot of the requirements for tournaments, which is really interesting because there's a lot of random elements. It's really interesting to see because you can see the strategy point of both players, and it is a one-on-one game. So it's a very enjoyable tournament game. But from my perspective, I enjoy playing Arena much more. And in the past, when I did try to take Constructed seriously, I did play decks of other players. I'd play for like one day, get bored, and just not bother. And Hearthstone, especially with the ladder, you can have success with your own deck, but you need to be very persistent, and you need to invest a lot of time, and you need to pretty much want it. And I just don't care much for ladder success in Hearthstone on a personal level. So in the end, because I am so relaxed with what I do, I always prioritize my fun and what I want to do over what the viewers may want. And sometimes this has disadvantages, but I get to keep my sanity because I do it all day, every day.
Nice. I will also add up that if he was a mainstream guy, he would still be a technician and not be here today.
This is a good job.
Hello, first of all, and I want to ask, when you first started YouTube videos, did you believe you would become so popular right now?
When I started YouTube videos, the only thing that I wanted was to be popular because I knew the YouTube system. I knew I couldn't make money off of what I was doing. The game that I played before World of Warcraft was Dark Age of Camelot, and Dark Age of Camelot had like a video library, and I would watch like all of those videos of just, you know, decked out, geared characters slaying drooling noobs for like 10 minutes with heavy metal in the background. And the videos that had the most hits, like I would envy them. I'd be like, man, you know, I'm really good at this game. Why don't people watch my videos? So it was essentially, you know, I'm great at World of Warcraft. I can show you guys to be great. Look at my stuff. And, you know, I talk to people about my YouTube through like forums. I'd have like my YouTube link in my signature. You know, I do what I can. And in the end, you know, it worked. But I didn't have real popularity, real success until, you know, I really started putting all my time into it, which was, you know, a couple of years after. I didn't really know how well it'll go, but you have to try things.
Okay. Last question. Let's hit it.
Hello there. Hi, Krip.
Hey.
I'd just like to ask, do you like the new Diablo 3, like the removing of the auction house and the new loot system, or do you prefer the old system?
The interesting thing about Diablo 3, which overall, in my opinion, was a disaster of a game, except not for me because, well, it's why I'm here. But it was a game that its only real unique feature was that you could trade items for real money within the game. And when the expansion came out a couple of years later, the main bonus of the expansion was that they removed the auction house. So, I mean, in terms of what I like, I can't say I really like either version of the game. I like the original, but not because of the auction house. I like the original because the game, you know, was hard. It kicked my ass for a while.
Nice. Okay, final question. Somebody whispered in my ear. Which is the game that you would like, you're anticipating, you would like to stream in the future? Or is there something you're waiting for? A game? Something you'd like to see? I don't know.
I think all the games I've tried recently are missing a little bit of something. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I think Arcade is almost a good game. I'm hoping that Hearthstone with the Nax expansion will be a lot different, and I hope they update the cards very frequently, which will make it a much better game, much better than it already is. I'm hoping, probably foolishly so, that World of Warcraft will be the same as I remember it several years ago.
Nice.
But no, not one game that I anticipate specifically.
Nothing special, eh?
Not yet.
Relaxed. Grand applause. And a huge honor to have this guy with us in our lovely little family event. Rumor has it that you will need a bodyguard for pictures.
Yeah.
Okay, I have 2 of them.
I want to mention that the first time we went upstairs, in the Hearthstone room, there was like a standing ovation.
I know, man, I told you.
You guys definitely are very vocal to what you like. So much so that it scares me a little bit.
This is Greece, man. That's why I have 2 bodyguards for you. It was funny. Είχε πλάκα γιατί έρχεται ο Krip. I'm saying in Greece, I'm just saying what happened in the level. So έρχεται μέσα, το βλέπω χαλαρό, δεν του μιλάει κανένας. Οπότε κάποια στιγμή κάποιος του ρωτάει κάτι και του λέει και του λέει χαλάρωση. Πας στον 5ο και ετοιμάσου for riot. Και όντως αυτό έγινε με το που ανέβηκε στον 5ο, από ό,τι άκουσα γκρεμίστηκε το σύμπαν. Του χυμίξαν να τον αρπάξουν. Τα ζέργς. Λοιπόν, δώστε χειροκρότημα, Grande τελευταίο. Huge honor to have you here, man. Such a cool, relaxed guy. Δεν πάει πιο cool, δεν πάει πιο relaxed.